Hi, Sean Souza from psychotactics.com, and today we're going to talk about headlines and how to avoid headline confusion. Of course, this is part 2, and we're going to look at the second mistake that you tend to make every time you write a headline, and that is simply giving headlines a day off. So we started to look at trying to solve too many problems, and you want to look at the previous video if you missed that one. And we will look at graphics that clutter the headline, but right now we're focusing on giving subheadlines the day off. Now, when we look at this headline, we see that there is no subheadline. It's just a headline which says, do you know why most visitors leave your website without buying? So there's no subheadline. So we start to look at the role of headlines and subheadlines and how they work together. So what is the role of headlines and subheadlines? Well, the headline is meant to attract your attention, and of course, the subheadline is meant to keep that attraction, that attention, as it were. So when we start to look at a headline, we see that's the headline, which is how to stop knocking on clients' doors and to get them to call you instead. Now, that is a problem, that clients are not being attracted to you. So, how do you do this? That's a problem. And then we go to a solution, and we start to learn why articles do a good job of attracting those clients. So we have a problem and a solution, and we have a headline and a subheadline. And then when we look at another website, we'll see, again, there's a problem and solution. Need a white paper writer that will stick to your deadlines. That problem is about deadlines. And then you have the solution. But there's a slight problem before that. Aren't you sick of white paper writers who need to be chased? And then, aren't you ready? So now this is the solution coming through. Aren't you ready for someone who actually owns a clock and keeps the deadlines? Again, we'll start to see a different variation of that, which is the problem and the continuing problem. So that's the problem. People that don't get your business, and that's the continuing problem. See, don't you sometimes want to outsource a writing project? Don't you wish you'd written the material yourself? So it's a continuing problem. There's no solution there. So it's still keeping your attention, and that's what it's supposed to do. Get your attention and keep your attention. Again, we'll start to look at a problem and a solution. Do you find yourself putting off writing that white paper? Okay, that's the problem. And then the dread. Then would you wish that someone could take the task off your hand so that you could work on other projects? So what we see is a problem, solution, problem, or in this case, a problem and a continuing problem, which is ever wondered why so many prospects leave your website. And then you're looking at the bounce rate. Then you're looking how they show up. Then they leave. Then you're not sure why. It's a continuing problem. It gets your attention. It keeps your attention. Again, are you losing customers because you don't know how the brain works? So there is a problem. And then it continues. There's a continuing problem. And then you go down and it continues. And it's only when you get to that level that you start to see, here's your opportunity. Here is the solution. So the role of the problem and the solution is to get your attention, keep that attention, increase your heart rate, decrease your heart rate. That's really what you're doing. When we look at, say, the article writing course, again, we have how to stop knocking on clients' doors. That was the problem. And then learn how articles do a far superior job. So again, problem and solution. Okay, so that's problem, and you just saw the solution. So your headline and your subheadline, what is it trying to do? It's trying to get your attention, keep your attention. And you know that. You know that, of course, on the Psychotactics site, for instance, you can't actually see it in bold. You can kind of get these paragraphs that are flowing to each other. You have to recognize one thing, though. You have to recognize the fact that your headline and subheadline, they are the first thing that people see. And so you want to make sure that you have that headline and give the subheadline some work. Even I forget how to do that sometimes, or to do it sometimes. Don't forget to do it for yourself. Give the subheadline some work. Make it either continue a problem or problem and then further solution. So we looked at headline confusion part 1, and in that we saw we were trying to solve too many problems. Then we looked at giving subheadlines the day off. Even I do that. You don't want to do that. You want to not give them the day off. And now we're going to start to see graphics that clutter the headline. Just to summarize what we finished in the second part was you want to have a headline and then a subheadline, and you can have a problem and the continuing problem, or problem and solution, or problem and then solution. But don't just give the subheadline a day off. Now, there's a lot written about headlines, and you can find that at psychotactics.com. You'll find that this headline report is very useful to you. So go to psychotactics.com and subscribe to the newsletter, and you can also find us at Twitter and Facebook.